Yeah, this isn't working. I'm not warm enough. I guess this lack of sleep is good practice for when the baby comes. So I'm going to be going on my first and probably last solo camping adventure, at least for a while. Let me explain. So my wife and I are expecting our first son in a couple months' time. So the days of me just doing the random things that I want to do are very limited. And also, JC is away for the weekend, so I figured why not do some of the bush clearing on the farm that I've really been needing to do, but make an adventure out of it. So the idea is simple. I'm going to pack some supplies into a bag, hike to somewhere on the farm where I'm going to be sleeping for the night, then the next morning wake up and do some bush clearing. It's basically a little micro-adventure. In this case, it's definitely not about the destination, but about the journey. And something is only an adventure if you make it one. And there I was, a soon-to-be dad in his late 20s, setting off on one of his silly adventures. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, not knowing at all what the future holds. Not so different from becoming a first-time parent, I guess.
Look at this cool thing. Looks like an old plow or something, maybe. Wonder how long that's been sitting there. Found my first rubbish. Predator energy.
Yeah, this bush is pretty thick. It's going to be easier said than done. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. To make things more interesting, I decided to take the road less travelled. My theory is inconvenience breeds adventure. Well, no one said it was going to be easy. That's why I wanted to do it. Looks like it's starting to flatten out. A big part of being a parent is about being aware of your surroundings, right? Well, I might be able to identify some animal droppings, but I will always find a way to misplace my phone. I think my phone's fallen out my pocket. I better go find it.
Oh my goodness. How lucky am I? Luckiest boy in the world.
Adventure is off to a good start. I realized that I'd never actually spent a night on my own in the bush, and I just figured it's kind of now or never. It was a very surreal feeling knowing that in a couple of months our lives will be changed forever. This was the fence I was expecting to run into eventually. Means we're there. Now, to make this even more interesting, I didn't come down here with a tent, came down here with a hammock, which is a hammock I've never even used before. Let's see if it works out. Okay, my first ever hammock. Let's test it out. Gingerly. Oh, I'm so scared. I don't think it's high enough. I clearly needed a little bit more practice with the hammock, and the light was fading fast, but eventually I got it just right. Later that night, I would be wishing for a tent though. But for now, Tian was all happy. Oh yeah. When you're out in the bush, you focus on the bare necessities. Fire, shelter, water, and food. I'm no expert, but I have a feeling maybe parenting's not all that different. It's about staying grounded, appreciating the small moments, and making sure the essentials are taken care of. Well, I reckon these funny little sausage roll guys are ready. Haven't done this before, but I did bring some all gold tomato sauce with me. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a really good combo. Alright, here we go. Oh, that's really good. Dinner well deserved tonight, I think. All that was left on my agenda for the night was to drink a nice warm cup of tea, eat a Tim Tam, and stare at the bush TV. As the fire dies down and the coals start to glow red hot, it's a sign for me to go to bed. But I knew I was going to have a long night ahead of me.
So I've been trying to sleep for a couple hours now, and all of the heat is just being pulled out at the bottom of the hammock. I'm actually quite lucky that it's not actually that cold, but yeah, this isn't working. I'm not warm enough. I guess this lack of sleep is good practice for when the baby comes. It is a nice night out now.
Morning. Well, I can be glad I did change my sleeping situation because it got colder during the night and it was instantly better on the floor. Well, it's time to make some food and get to work. As I packed up camp, I couldn't help but think how our mornings are about to look very different. There's going to be a lot of chaos, but it's a chaos I'll do my best to welcome and never wish away. Because in life, just like in hiking, there are plenty of false summits. Always another hill to climb. Might as well embrace it and enjoy the ride. Today I'm clearing out some ferns and brambles. Hard to say exactly what species they are. South Africa is full of a mix of indigenous, alien and even a few hybrids, but they all have a way of taking over and reshaping the landscape. Normally people use herbicide for this, but because we're so close to an important river, I'd rather avoid anything that could wash downstream and affect other ecosystems. The biomes of this valley have largely been replaced with grasslands for livestock and farming. There are, however, some beautiful small clusters of indigenous forest around the riverbanks. There was the odd invasive bugweed tree that I was happy to send packing. Now, even though I felt I had done a good day's work, the job was far from over. Land restoration takes years of dedication to the trade to be able to promote change. There is no fast track to success. Very much like raising the next generation. Pitching up every day to do the job to your best ability is what matters. If you're lucky, it's a job you'll have for the rest of your life. And I've heard it's a very fulfilling one. I think I've had enough for today.
Look at this little family of bushbucks.
This is crazy. I've never actually seen so many at one spot on the farm. And the fact that they're right by my campsite makes it even more special. I think parenting can feel pretty wild. It's hard enough keeping myself fed and upright, and soon there'll be a tiny human completely dependent on us, soaking up whatever environment we create. But if nature's taught me anything, it's to keep it simple, focus on the basics, and give it your best shot every day. I don't think there are perfect answers, just the outcomes we grow into. Like that bushbuck family we watched. The landscape will change, but if you stick together and adapt, you'll make it through. This has been a soon-to-be dad, doing slightly ridiculous things for fun, getting ready to swap solo missions for family adventures.